Mentioned before in our first little clip, our great guest today is the great and wonderful Harry Michaels. I'm going to ask Vinny, who was also a very old friend of Harry, to bounce the ball. Get the questions going.
He's bouncing the ball, Harry. He's a big ball bouncer.
Hey, you're really building me up, aren't you?
Now listen, a lot of people don't know, but I know, and many people my age and younger know, you were a famous actor on Number 96. Now look, I don't want to talk about your character, because we all know he's a Delhi type kind of guy. I want to talk about the most obvious question. Abigail, how is she doing? Is she okay? Is she still with us?
She's still with us. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being. She's done so much for the industry. I remember when I first watched the show, I said, I have a wish, one day to meet Abigail. And my wish did come true.
Mate, do you keep in touch with any of the old stars from Number 96?
With a lot of them, yes. Yes, with a lot of them, but as you know, as we get older, it's very hard, and we drifted. It's been a long time ago, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So
hard to believe.
Things have changed. But every so often we'll call each other. It's like me and Tony Bonner. It never goes a day without calling each other.
You know what my mum used to do? I used to love watching Number 96, like every other young teenage boy.
And I wonder why.
Oh, Abigail had a lot to do with it.
She did.
But as soon as those scenes came on,
yes,
guess what my mum would do? Plop.
What?
Turn the black and white TV off.
That's not very Christian.
No, it wasn't at all, eh?
Now I'm going to jump in and follow up that nice opening of yours with Harry. When I first met Harry, he was back then, 96 period. I was on another show. I didn't ever work on 96. My brother did. Hilton worked on played a priest. On that show.
I can see you the Bonners as priests. I really can.
He blessed a lot of people.
Yeah, I bet he can.
But then I went overseas to work for a long time. Harry then left 96 and the growth of Harry Michaels started. Studios, buses, OB, what's called an OB van.
The OB truck.
Outside broadcast. The football, Harry's years studying soccer, football.
Yeah, a lot of people remember Harry as an actor, but they don't realise just how technical he was with the broadcast side of things, with sport, with variety shows, and all those other things that people sort of didn't realise was part of his skill set.
Okay, let's ask, I suppose question number one is, as a great Greek immigrant, a migrant to this country with your family, what's early days for you, Harry, and what led into wanting to be an actor?
Yeah. Well, I always wanted to be an actor. I was brought up in London, and I was watching a film called Fury.
Yes.
And there was a young boy with his horse.
Yeah.
And I said, if this boy can do it, I can do it. And that just faded away for a while. Then I went back to Cyprus, stayed there for a few years. And then my mom said, well, we can't keep living here under these conditions. We just can't afford it. So my mom had relatives here, 4 sisters, and they all chipped in. They bought some tickets, they got us a business, and we came on a boat called Patrice. Most of the Greeks those days were on a boat called Patrice. And it took us 29 days to get here. When we came to Australia, we ended up pre-medal. We got out to walk around. I bought an ice cream with my family. Oh my God, what a highlight.
But isn't that brilliant? You can remember that.
Yes. Then we walked around back on the boat. Melbourne was the next stop. And finally we arrived at Circular Quay, the international terminal.
Yeah.
And then the opera house was not still
finished.
Complete.
No.
And there was cranes everywhere and all that. So my mom brought cans of cheese and olive
from Cyprus,
and olive oil.
Wow.
Yes. And the customs said, well, what's that? And she said, my cheese, my olive oil, my olives. Well, you can't bring that in. No, I can't do without them. I need my olive oil.
I love it.
And said, no, you can't. We're going to keep it here, and you're going to come back to the customs house on Monday, and we're going to talk about it. You thieves. I said, Mom, you can't call them that. They're protecting.
I love it.
You know, Australia. Bumbo. She calls me Bumbo. That's my Greek name. And I said, Mom, you can't do it. We arrived back on Monday. The guy said she must understand the law is the law, the rules are the rules. She's not taking it. We convinced her to believe that. That's right. But that was an incident that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And then from there on, it was a battle getting a job. I got a job at a factory
Yep.
making whiskey, and I was washing the bottles. From there on, after that, I got a job working for a customs agent, not customs agent.
Agent, yeah.
Working with Circular Quay at Circular Quay Customs House, delivering entries, clearing personal effects, and then from there on, I also got an agent. After I went to independent theatre school for 3 years
Yes.
at Doris Fitton.
Doris Fenton, yeah.
She approached me at the night of the graduation and said, I want to represent you.
Great.
And then the other two sisters came in from international casting. And they told me, no, go with them. So I went with them, not much work because they had people like yourself,
Sure.
and they were getting the work in. I was an outsider, so I ended up going back to international casting. She rings me one Friday at 3 o'clock and said, you need to go quickly to Bill Hammond's place. They're looking for an Italian. Really? I went there. I got a script, Carol Ray
Yes.
and Bill Hammond, and they said, this is made for you. I said, well, thank you. Then I said, what do I sign? No. Read the script. I read the script. I was so nervous. Bill said, listen, son, take it home and learn the lines. I said, okay. I went home. I said to my wife, let's work on it. This is you. Let's work on it. I went back on Monday. I did the audition. And he said, I'm giving you 7 weeks. You do something fucking wrong, and I'll cut your balls off.
That was Hammond. That was Bill. Yeah.
I said, why would I do anything wrong? I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he thought of that. And from 7 weeks, I stayed in until a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very, very fortunate. See, the stars were lining up for me.
Yeah.
Everything I did, and I was getting a lot of help, Tony.
Yeah.
I met people like yourself, and a lot of other people in the industry that really, really liked me. Although I had a very heavy accent, but my personality, Vinny,
Carried
me.
through.
Yeah.
Carried me.
And it still does that today.
Oh,
Yeah.
Vinny, I love you.
But we can see as we do, still today, Vinny, his work ethic has always been good.
He's always hard.
Yeah, always.
He
So-
does things on the spot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you were an actor. How the hell did you go from acting to the business end of entertainment, the broadcasting, the producing, the directing? How did you get involved in all that?
Okay, when number 96 finished, but in the meantime, while I was in the show, I was looking around and I was meeting people, and I thought, what do I do after this? I need to have a job. I have a family. My wife is expecting. So I met the boss of Channel 10, Ian Cannon, God rest his soul. And I got tipped off from Bunny Brooks and a few others that the show is coming to an end. And we feel for you. I said, why do you feel for me? Well, you're the one who's got to struggle to get a job because of your accent, and it's not very much in fashion in Australia. I said, well, don't worry about me. And we were joking around and all that. The boss saw me in the corridors and said, do you want to come in and have a coffee with me? I said, yeah, I love that. I went into his office. He says, so what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to ask you a favor, Ian. Can you allow me to produce a Greek show for the Greek community? Very funny man. I used to call him he was a short man, and I had a name for him. He'll come back to me. And he said, we have a Greek show, we have an Italian show. Aren't you all the same? I said, no, Ian, we're very different. We eat different, we speak different, and we have style. He said, don't say that. I said, okay. He knew a guy called Nick Scully.
Oh, Nick,
And
yeah.
Nick was so close, so he said to Nick, should I trust Harry with a job? Harry's a good man. Give him the Greek show. You'll do very well. He gave me 13 weeks, and I stayed on for 7 years.
Yeah, I remember. I went on that show.
You did many times.
It was great. I had great fun. It was over a very good studio that Harry owned then, 010.
Yes.
Greek variety show. And I'd sit on the panel everyone speaking Greek except
You.
It was funny. You remember a moment? Tony said we were going on and we were in our own zone. And he said, "Can I ask you something in front of everyone? What am I doing here?" I said, "Tony, don't you go. Your name and your presence make us feel fantastic."
Every ethnic show needs its own skippy.
it does.
You're the skippy.
It does, mate. It does. But I remember then what Harry did from there, which we'll come back to in depth. But Harry moved from there. This fabulous studio he had. Got the OB van, the OB bus, where you controlled the whole television show from inside this bus. So this bus then became famous. Harry then used it to broadcast in the early days of Australian soccer football. We'll come back to that because it's a history of football, soccer football in this country. Harry was involved with the beginning of that. We'll come back.
Fascinating.